There's 6 things that a person who's humble has. We said, for example, the last one we said is a person who is humble. If somebody says good about him, he just shakes it off. He doesn't really pay attention to it. But the guy who has ga'ava, so he says, oh, listen, she's talking good about me. Be quiet, right? So then we said the guy who gets rebuked, if he's humble, he says, give me more. You're giving me a gift. You're cleansing me from my sins. Kapara. And the guy who has ga'ava, he cannot stand when somebody's telling him off. So he always has to bring out the other guy's garbage too. He has to always put him in his place, right? And that's where the pasuk says, "V'ashev l'shchenenu shivatayim mechelkam herpatam asher cherfucha Hashem." Pasuk Tehillim says that and return to our neighbors sevenfold, into their bosoms their insults which they have insulted you, O Hashem. So what's it talking about? It's talking about how the wicked, right? They get upset when people argue with them, and they're gonna say that we didn't do a lot of these averot. They always try to excuse themselves, and really Hashem's gonna show them they did these averot. Plus, they're gonna get averot they never did. Why? Because all the lashon hara they're gonna speak about the other person. Right away, when you embarrass somebody else, when you speak lashon hara about somebody else, because you're trying to show how he's also bad, I'm not so bad. He's also bad. You're also no good. So when you do that, when you speak lashon hara about somebody else, the Gemara says you get all their sins, they get all your mitzvot. So the Chavetz Chaim says right before Rosh Hashanah, you gotta be very careful not to speak lashon hara because you lose all your mitzvot. You get a lot of averot. So they're gonna say insults, and Hashem's gonna give them back sevenfold, back, right? As the Gemara says, Ki kol mecharefet tzaddik il mecharefet Hashem baruch hu. Whoever insults a righteous man, it's as if he insulted HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. If you slap another Jew, it's as if you slapped the Shekhinah's cheek. So a person has to be very careful not to do these kind of things. As we find by Hillel Hanasi, what happened? They made him come out of the shower 3 times, Erev Shabbat. Every time he answered them properly, and he said, I lost the bet. I bet money I was going to make you upset, and you didn't get upset. Yirbu kumotcha be'Yisrael. You should be many like you, right? But no, Al Yirbu because he made me lose. But in general, we see that it was a very good thing that he didn't get upset. Number 4. There's 3 types of wealth, right? Wisdom, money, children. There's 3 types of wealth. The person has to pray that he should be wealthy in all 3. But let's say the guy who's humble, he got blessed with wealth and children and wisdom. So he should be even more humble and lowly in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? And other people? Because it's very easy for him to have gava now. He has to fight more. You know the guy who came to the rabbi, he said, Rabbi, teach me how to have gava, not to have gava. I don't want to have gava. I don't want to be kaloni. He says, what do you have to have gava about? What's so special about you should have gava? Okay, if you tell me you're wealthy, you have children, you have wisdom, okay, fine, you have what to have gava about, so you should be humble. But surely a person who has these 3 things, he should surely make himself humble. What do we learn from Avraham Avinu? It says the pasuk, "Mechase ani me'Avraham." Even HaKadosh Baruch Hu said when he was going to destroy Sodom, he felt bad. Hashem felt bad destroying Sodom without telling Avraham. So imagine, no, Hashem, you could do whatever you want. What do you mean? No, I have to give kavod to Avraham. I have to tell him. And what did Avraham say? Nonetheless, he said, "Ani afar ve'efer." I am but dust and ashes. What does it mean that he's dust and ashes? Dust and ashes is nothing, right? Dust, what's dust? Dust is things that accumulate when you don't do nothing. Right. But ashes is special because ashes used to be something and you burnt it. So it means afar ve'efer. I'm humble. If I have nothing to my name, I'm humble. Even if I have something to my name, I act like I burnt it. I act like I'm nothing. I burnt myself, and I should be something big, but I made myself nothing. That's the afar ve'efer. He says he had an abundance of wealth, abundance of wisdom, and he nonetheless chose to be very humble, right? And not to show himself in a certain way. What did Yaakov Avinu tell his sons? Lama titra'u. Why are you coming into the gates of Egypt altogether? Separate yourselves. Don't bring all this attention to yourself. You can't do that. Right? So therefore, a person who has humility realizes all is a gift from Hashem. He says this is how you could siman and esayonhu, to see if you have humility when it comes to your money. Listen to this. שבעל הממון טרוד על שמירת ממונו ויראה תמיד מפגעים שמא יפסיד ממונו ואינו נהנה מן הממון לשלוט בו לאכול ממנו. He says the sign of a trial is if you believe the money is from Hashem, if you're always busy guarding your money, always afraid something will happen to it, and you never let yourself enjoy from the money, so that's a sign you don't believe it's from Hashem. Right? Well, a guy who has emunah, what does he say? He says the money's from Hashem. Okay, if I'm meant to lose, I'm going to lose no matter what. Right? And if a guy cheats me in business, okay, let him take. Hashem's going to give me a different way. Some guys are very cheap. No, I can't enjoy. I don't want to go spend for Rosh Chodesh. I can't. Because I can't. I work hard for this money. It's from Hashem. It's for a mitzvah. Spend for the mitzvah. Hashem is going to give you back. You don't believe it's from Hashem? That's a sign. That's a test.
Sounds like you couldn't have savings account.
Yeah, on a certain levels, emunah, we said that Arizal used to go to sleep and used to give all his money away before he went to sleep. He never had a savings. He says, I want Baruch Hashem Yom Yom. I don't want money from yesterday's bracha. I want money from today's bracha. Every day has a different bracha, like the man. That's a certain level to get to. Another test, he says, to sign if you have gava or not, is revenge. He says, Siman nekama she'bal mamon mazik la'acherim b'mamono, u'mitga'e bo, ve'eno oseh bo tzedakah. Person who believes his money is his and doesn't have emunah, he has gava. He injures other people. He thinks he has to take revenge on other people in business. He boasts about it. He talks big about his money, how accomplished he is. He doesn't want to do tzedakah. He says, it's my money. I work hard for it. You go work hard also. I don't want to give tzedakah. And then he's busy how to enjoy from his money for the vacation he spends, for the car he spends. You know, and the guy says, oh, I don't have money. I'm sorry. I can't afford it. This, that. He comes to the school. Give me tuition aid driving a BMW. He doesn't, he can't afford it. He can't afford the tuition, he says. I can't afford it. But what car you drive? Where you live? I remember there was a program, the kid came, he's in public school. The kid came to the program, the after school program we had. We had a trip or whatever. Everybody had to pay for the trip. He said, I can't afford the trip. Can you give me help? He says, why? He says, I can't. My parents can't afford it. This, that. I said, well, so why don't you come to the program all the time? He said, I have to work. Why do you have to work? He says, my parents are building a house now. We need all the money we can get. So can you give us financial aid? I understand you're building a house with the fancy customized bricks and all these kind of things. That's why you need financial aid? What is that? Where are your priorities?
But does he eligible for that or no?
What?
Does he eligible for this or not?
No. What do you mean? That's not a right reason for to ask tuition. If you really don't have, okay, but you have. You just think other things are more important.
No, but the government or who's providing financial?
No, they're asking the program to go on a trip for the after-school program. The whatever chazak, whatever it is, they want to help him to take it to spend time with his friends to make a kiruv trip. So therefore, all these things that's related to gava and humility, as it says, Osher shamur leba'alav lerato. Chaz v'shalom, a person who lives like this with gava, the wealth he guards it, but it's to his detriment, doesn't give him bracha. That's why we ask Hashem give us parnasat tova. Okay, we'll stop over here. Baruch Adonai Olam, amen.